Wrath of Man. Now, if you've ever seen a Jason Statham movie, you know what you're going into with this movie. I mean, just look at that title, Wrath of Man. I mean, it just screams Jason Statham. And you're going to get what you're expecting with this movie. Now, I was intrigued because it was a Jason Statham movie directed by Guy Ritchie. If you don't know who that is, he did movies like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, Rock and Rolla. He did the new King Arthur film. He did the 2 Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. And he did The Amazing Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey. So, he has had some misses in his career, but he's had a lot of hits. And so, a new Guy Ritchie film, rejoining with Jason Statham, what's not to like? And so, yeah, I should get into it now.
And I do bear a grudge. If he's not a cop, what is he? He's a dark fucking spirit.
So the general synopsis of this film is there's this armored truck company, and they are getting rolled over, and they have this new character show up. A new guy who applies for the job, shows up, gets the job, and he just kind of seems like an average person. But of course the audience doesn't buy it because it's Jason Statham. He never plays an average person, not once in his entire career. So why the hell would he be starting now? And so, but you know, go with the story a little bit. He just seems like this average guy, and then all hell breaks loose. And he starts kicking ass. And there's kind of a mystery as to who Jason Statham is. Who is this guy? Why is he here? Why did he get a job with this armored truck company? The trailers spoil a lot more of the story than I am, so I feel like I'm actually not spoiling anything for you, and unfortunately, if you want to go into this fresh, you should probably avoid the trailers, because let's face it, most trailers these days spoil everything. But kind of the first thing I noticed was, for a Guy Ritchie film, how unfunny this movie was. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying it was trying to make jokes and it just none of them were like, no, like, this movie literally was not making any jokes. This movie was dead serious. Like, there might have been twice I laughed at something, and it wasn't because all the jokes were shitty. It was just, this was not a comedy at all. This was a straight up violent revenge thriller heist movie. That's what it was. No shot comedy at all. At any point. Which was strange because Guy Ritchie has done a lot of comedy. I mean, even like every movie I named that he did were kind of comedic at different points in the film. There were funny parts in all of them. Except for this one. This one, he went at it with a different tone. A different plan. I mean, there's not a lot of funny stuff in this film. And so that kind of surprised me. I'm not saying it's a negative. I just was generally surprised. There was a Guy Ritchie film that wasn't a comedy. Or a dark comedy or an action comedy, whatever you want to call it. Another thing I liked was the kind of origin reveal of Jason Statham's character. 9 times out of 10, whenever Jason Statham is a mysterious character, he's ex-military. I was expecting him to be ex-military. It's always ex-military. He's always playing an ex-military guy. And this, it was a little surprising. Like, oh, okay, that's actually not what I was expecting. I was expecting ex-military. And so, no, that's interesting. And, like, I could totally see them doing another movie just focusing on that aspect of his character's life. And you could still call it, like, Wrath of Man. So, will they do a sequel? I don't know. It depends on how well this does at the theaters. Now, the action scenes are pretty good. I have to give it credit where credit's due. There aren't a lot of them. Alright? This isn't like The Transporter where there's an action scene every 20 minutes. But, like, there's a good number of set pieces, action scenes, and they do a good job at them. Jason Statham doesn't exactly do the whole kung fu type Jason Statham aspect. He does more of the shoot 'em up Jason Statham aspect. He does more of the gunplay, look at me wow aspect instead of the punchy McPunch face aspect. And he's good at both, don't get me wrong, just they went more with the shooty in the face aspect than the punchy in the face aspect. The cast is pretty solid. I liked the cast. They got Josh Hartnett back. One of the regulars of Guy Ritchie films, he's here playing like the bumbling manager of the company, and it was crazy seeing him do an American accent because he's English. He always does an English accent. I've never seen him do anything but an English accent, and he was doing an American accent. It was just like almost unsettling. Like, no, bring back the English accent, man. I'm used to you doing that. Scott Eastwood is in this. Jeffrey Donovan is in this. Those two do a pretty good job. Probably the biggest surprise was, unfortunately, I don't know his name, but I'll put it right here. He was in movies like The Losers. He was the criminal at the beginning of the Joss Whedon version of Justice League. He's been in a lot of movies, and this movie, he actually got to play a bigger character than just the standard side characters he usually plays. And so it was kind of neat seeing that character actor get more of a spotlight in a decently sized movie. And he did a pretty good job, I have to admit. I thought he did rather well. So, now something that I won't say is a bad thing, it just kind of caught me off guard, is this movie abruptly ends. I mean, just like, wham, bam, thank you, man, end. And it's, oh, okay, we're just getting nothing after that. And so it's like, okay, I mean, did I like it? Yeah, it's not the worst Jason Statham movie. But it's not the best either. Alright? I mean, it was good. I liked it. He's done better work though, but for a Jason Statham film, not bad. Fun movie, pretty good. Good popcorn flick to watch on your couch at night, although this is only in theaters right now, I think. So, did I like Wrath of Man? Yes, I did. I would recommend seeing it, although you don't have to see it on the big screen. You can probably wait till it comes out on video on demand or on DVD and Blu-ray. So, that being said, my name's Chris with 11th Hour Reviews. This is my review of Wrath of Man, and that is all.